Hello students, welcome back. Now we are going to talk about conditional statements. Conditional statements are nothing but if-else statements, and if you have been exposed to any programming language, you must have studied these statements. So in Arduino programming language, where do we use them and how do we use them? So there are few operators that will work when I say, okay, the received signal is low or the received signal is high. So if such condition is true, then we say perform these set of statements. If that statement is not true, that condition is not true, then we say, okay, do something else. If else is directly taken from C language in Arduino programming language also. So when we talk about the syntax, we have only the if statement. That means we simply say if my logical expression is true, then perform these 3 or 4 or even more number of statements. I am not worried about the else condition in this case. So this is only the if condition. So I am just examining that there is a sensor which is a digital sensor, and if the value is true, that means logic high, and I say then do this. So for example, you consider I simply say if the level is greater than 15, there is an analog sensor which is giving me a level value, and I say if this level is more than 15, print level is and the value of level. Now in most of the practical cases, only if may not be sufficient, then we have to use if with else also. So if my condition is true, do the first set of statements, else go to the second set of statements. So this is more practical way. This will also remove ambiguities in your coding, and all the states will be properly set in your program. For example, in the same question that we discussed earlier, if I say if level is greater than 15, then you print level is and the value of level, else print the level is critical. Okay, so this is how we use if else statements. So how do we test them? I have a small circuit where I have attached a potentiometer, and I am going to read the value of voltage from this potentiometer and control one LED. So before we go there to the coding part, let us see what is this potentiometer. A potentiometer is a 3-terminal device which is basically series combination of two resistors. So that means we get 3 terminals. The extreme ends are connected to ground and VCC. That means the voltage between those 2 points will remain constant as 0 and 5 volt if you are giving VCC as 5 volt. The central pin is the voltage divided output of these two resistors. As you are moving your wiper from left to right or in clockwise or anti-clockwise, the value of R1 is increasing, R2 is decreasing, and in the opposite direction, R1 will decrease, R2 will increase. That means the output voltage that we are measuring at the center pin is going to increase or decrease with your anti-clockwise and clockwise rotations. Now this is going to be an analog value which can be anything between 0 to VCC. So then we need a ADC. ADC means analog to digital converter, because your microcontroller cannot handle analog value. So all the values from 0 to 5 volt, they are mapped with the help of a 10-bit ADC. In Arduino, we have 10-bit ADC. 2 raised to power 10 means 1024 steps. 1024 different values can be generated, and the values are 0 to 1023. So if you have your input exactly at 0, the corresponding value will be 0. And if your input is exactly 5 volt, the corresponding value is going to be 1023. In center, you are going to get 512. and then you can linearly calculate that what will be the value for each analog input. So now we have our code ready. I have a setup function where I simply define that pin mode A0, analog pin A0 is going to be my input, and pin number 10 digital is going to be my output. In the loop function, I define one variable of the type integer, which is analog read. So that is the name port value, potentiometer value. I begin the serial communication. Now I come to the conditional statement. I say if my port value is greater than 500, then serial print the value and keep the LED on by giving digital pin 10 as high signal. So when I am rotating my potentiometer, if the value is more than 500, LED will be on. Else means if the value is less than or equal to 500, I am still going to print the value, and the value of the LED pin, that means pin number 10, is set as low, and that will be off. So this is our simple program. If my potentiometer value is received as more than 500, LED is on. If it is less than 500, LED is off. Now we are going to test the same using Tinkercad. So the circuit is ready here, and we are going to have a look at the code. So this is the same code that we discussed, and here is our serial monitor. We should bring it up when we start the simulation. So we start the simulation. Right now the LED is on, and we don't know what is the value being received from this potentiometer. So let me pull up the serial monitor, and it is 593. It is more than 500, so it is glowing. Now you can change the value, so it is going up 818, even high 921, and what is the maximum? See, this is the maximum 1023. If I rotate it on the other side, the values are decreasing. Now it is 655, now it is 552. In all these cases the LED is on, and when I bring it below 500, 430 is the value and LED is off, and anything below that LED will remain off, and the minimum value is 0. So this simulation shows two things. One is how to read analog values and how to use the conditional statements. Let us change the code slightly. Instead of 500, if I keep it 50, then I start the simulation. So currently the value is 0, and as I increase it 20, and then slowly when I go to 80, the LED start glowing. So that is how we use the conditional statements in Arduino C language. So next we are going to learn about loops. So there are loops which can run for a fixed number of iteration or forever. We will discuss that in the next topic. Thank you.